The stars flickered unnaturally above Kilera's station. High above the gas giant's rings, the Galactic Council's oldest listening post stood silent, still watching for threats it no longer understood. Commander Gelathrix sipped her bitter syrup vine tea, bored and half asleep in her observation cradle. The scanners blinked. Nothing. They always blinked. Then the blink became a pulse. The screen flared. 6 unidentified signatures, far outside standard council transponder norms. Black holes, no energy bleed, silent drives. Impossible. Her breath caught. Auto-verify, confirm threat level. The AI hesitated, then responded in a flat voice. Threat level Apex. The final transmission from Kileris was less than 5 seconds long. Static. Then silence. In the cold black void far beyond Council space, Admiral Juno Reyes stood on the command deck of the TSS Leviathan, her face lit by the scarlet glow of targeting telemetry. Her eyes were dry, unreadable. Confirmation? She asked. Target neutralized, replied Commander Ria Tanaka. No survivors. No response beacons triggered. Juno gave a tight nod. Good. Upload the footage. Broadcast across all open council channels. The crew worked in grim silence. No one cheered. No one smiled. Ria glanced over. You think they'll believe it's really us? They'll believe it when the next 10 outposts vanish, Juno said. We're not here to argue our existence. Behind her, the massive holographic map of known council space shimmered. Red sigils marked Earth's vengeance path. Kileris was only the beginning. 12 years ago, that same map had blinked with dying signals, Terran colonies falling, one by one. Reyes had watched helplessly as pleas for aid went unanswered, as council channels stayed silent. Then came Europa. She'd been a fleet captain then, commanding the SSV Halberd during the last evacuation of the Jovian moons. Reyes had seen her brother's escape pod launched from the colony dome. Then, moments later, a beam weapon, signature matched to a Kirill ship, cut it from the void. Council patrols nearby had done nothing. Just watched. Now she'd built something from that memory. Not just a fleet, but a reckoning. At the heart of Council space, in the silvered chamber of Sereth Prime, Supreme Chancellor Vel Surat was not watching stars. He was reading lies. The report in front of him labeled the Kileris attack a system glitch or a pirate raid. The Council's intelligence director had redacted the more disturbing possibilities. He tossed the datapad across the table. They're hiding the truth. They always do. Counselor Ixon, his closest advisor, bowed slightly. It's confirmed. The ship that destroyed Kileris bore no known registration. But the energy signatures were Terran in origin. Reconstructed, enhanced. Not primitive. Surat's fingers tightened on the armrest. Earth is dead. We gave them to the Dominion. Ixon hesitated. Perhaps not all of them died. No. They were meant to vanish. They had no right to survive. A soft chime interrupted them. A communication beacon had activated, a direct channel override. Council systems should have blocked it. They didn't. A voice played across every council frequency. We remember your betrayal. Your silence. The slaughter you signed. You gave Earth to the Kirill like a pet for slaughter. You called us unstable. Dangerous. Now you'll see what unstable truly looks like. This is not a warning. This is a reckoning. Silence followed. Surat sat frozen. I want the council guard mobilized, he ordered. Ixon bowed, but his skin tone had paled, a sign of fear in his species. They say the fleet that struck Kileris moved faster than light permits. No propulsion trail. No radiation decay. We don't understand their weapons. Surat stood, the chamber lights warping faintly around him. Then understand this, if Earth truly returned, it must be erased. Completely this time. Back aboard the Leviathan, the stars moved as the fleet accelerated. In the war room, Reyes stood before a flickering display of Earth's new arsenal. There were no grand names anymore. No Hope Class or Liberty Wing. Now, her ships bore names like Scythe, Wraith, and Oblivion, names chosen not to inspire but to remind. Behind her, Rhea spoke quietly. We've started something they can't stop. Reyes didn't turn. That was always the plan. You think they'll try diplomacy now? They'll try lies first. Then diplomacy. Then war. She tapped the next target node, Relay Station 9F, a council hub linking 6 inhabited systems. Relay 9 cuts off their access to the Zevik corridor and isolates Kiro reinforcements. You're expecting them to help the council? They were promised Earth sashes. We'll make sure they choke on what we became. Rhea hesitated. And if they sue for peace? Reyes finally turned. Her eyes were cold steel. Then they should have thought of peace before feeding our children to the stars. In the silence of the Leviathan's observation deck, Juno stood alone, watching Earth rise on the artificial holoscreen. A shadowed globe, scarred, rebuilt, brilliant. Once she had stood in real orbit over the broken shell of the blue planet, just after the collapse. Now, Earth was stronger than ever. Heavily shielded. Cradling shipyards that birthed the instruments of judgment. She remembered standing before the World Council, 12 years ago, screaming for aid as the Kirill descended. She remembered being escorted out in silence. She hadn't spoken to another world government again. Until today. And now, the galaxy was listening. She spoke quietly, not to the stars, but to the brother she lost. They wanted us to die quiet. Now we'll make sure they remember us loud. The fleet blinked from reality, warping to their next destination. And behind them, Kilaris drifted, silent, empty, and already forgotten. By everyone but Earth. Seraphis 9 glittered beneath its twin suns like a polished jewel, unbreakable, revered, and untouchable. The Galactic Council had built it as a monument to order, a regional fortress wrapped in centuries of arrogance. Its orbital defenses were layered, thick, and precise. Until they weren't. The first thing to vanish was the sky. Sensors blinked, then died. Surveillance stations fizzled, went dark. And in that sudden silence, the human fleet arrived, black, sharp-edged leviathans gliding into position without so much as a radiation ripple. The TSS Leviathan led the charge. Admiral Juno Reyes stood tall in the command center, wrapped in the eerie glow of tactical displays. Her expression was unreadable, sculpted by resolve and steel. "Begin transmission," she ordered. Rhea nodded. "You want to speak this time?" Reyes inhaled slowly, then stepped forward as the comms went live. Her voice went out not just to Seraphis 9, but to every system still tuned to Council military bands. "This is Admiral Juno Reyes of the Terran Sovereign Fleet. You are not our enemy. But you are standing on the bones of the ones who were. Your Chancellor betrayed Earth. You watched us burn. Today, we return that memory to you. Evacuate. Or be forgotten with the rest." She cut the channel. No response came. Seraphis thought it could withstand anything. Reyes raised her hand. "Commence strike." The assault began with silence. No flashy beams, no thunderous roars, just sudden absence. Orbital satellites flickered and fell, severed from control in milliseconds by precision-hacking drones. Then came the fire. Kinetic slugs, rods of dense metal accelerated to near-relativistic speeds, tore through the station's outer rings. Explosions erupted in chain blossoms, spreading like artificial suns. Council ships scrambled. Too late. Terran drone swarms overwhelmed them, black locusts swarming bright, over-engineered prey. Automated cannons punched through hulls before crews even finished pre-flight checks. From her command throne, Reyes watched the carnage unfold, eyes sharp but cold. Rhea approached, tension in her voice. "Council reinforcements inbound from the Zevik Gate. 3 cruisers, Kiro class." Reyes responded without hesitation. "Scramble Umbra wing. Intercept and isolate." "What about the station's civilians?" A pause. "They were warned." On the ground, chaos erupted. Sirens howled, not from defense systems, but emergency shelters. Panic bled through the city's marble avenues, designed more for parades than escape. In a fortified chamber beneath the Capitol, Sub-Minister Kalari screamed into a failing calm line. They said Earth was gone. They said Seraphis was secure. No one answered. Outside, the skyline fell, chunks of orbital ring infrastructure plummeting like meteorites. Flame painted the silver towers with ash. Back aboard the Leviathan, Reyes received the first full casualty report. 2 human losses, boarding teams, cornered by holdout security units. Names? She asked. The officer hesitated, then read them. She nodded once. Send the letters. And list them under Operation Echo Return. Rhea stood beside her, quieter now. They're going to call this a war crime. Let them. Rhea looked over. We're not monsters. We were victims. Now we're memory. A sudden ping interrupted them. An incoming transmission, not Council military, but a personal diplomatic line. Put it through, Reyes said. A tired face flickered into view, an alien man with sunken eyes and deep ceremonial tattoos across his skin. Varen Zil, Rhea whispered. The defector. I've seen what you've done, Zil said calmly. And I'm not here to stop you. I'm here to help you finish it. Reyes folded her arms. Why? Zil hesitated. Because I voted against the betrayal. Because Surat has activated something that cannot be undone. And because my family was on Kilaris. Silence. A soft beat. What do you have? Zil leaned forward, voice lowering. Project Lance is real. Surat intends to use it if Serath Prime is threatened. It's hidden beneath the old vaults, accessed through the Hall of Accord. Reyes didn't flinch. And you're offering this information in exchange for what? Asylum, Zil said. For me and my daughter. And a voice, one speech, to the galaxy, before the end. Reyes considered him. No tricks. No delays. You give us a way in, now. Zil nodded. Sending full coordinates and vault access codes. The line cut. Rhea blinked. Do you trust him? No. Reyes turned back to the star map. But I trust what we'll do if he's lying. The final phase of the Seraphis strike was swift. Council forces broke rank and scattered. One capital ship tried to flee through the defense gate, only to be caught mid-jump by a Terran gravity lance. The jump field collapsed, shredding the vessel between 2 states of existence. On the surface, the city's central AI surrendered. Emergency beacons broadcast full planetary retreat. Terran dropships moved in, not as conquerors, but as a message. Seraphis 9 would be spared. Partially. Its outer rings were gone. Its military was vaporized. But the city still stood, scarred, humbled. Just enough for others to see what waited for them. In orbit, Rhea stared through the reinforced viewing window. The planet glowed below, fractured and burning. They never thought we'd reach this far. Reyes stood beside her. They never thought we'd survive. What happens next? Reyes spoke without hesitation. We go to Serath Prime. And we finish what they started. That night, alone, Reyes stood in the observation deck once more. Earth shimmered faintly in the distance, caught in a distant star's reflection. She opened the next message from her brother's archive. His voice was soft, light-hearted. If you're watching this one, it means you did something stupid again. You always carried the weight. I just tried to keep you laughing. But if you're not laughing now, I want you to remember something. They can't erase us. Not if we remember who we are. She stood still. Then turned. Stars to erase. A promise to keep. The diplomatic vessel drifted into neutral space like a whisper in the void. It bore no Terran insignia, just a dark hull with a single coded beacon, R7/Valkyrie. Inside, Commander Rhea Tanaka waited in the central chamber, her posture straight, expression unreadable. The chamber was plain, no banners, no emblems. Just a round table and 4 seats. One for each attending species, plus the humans. The Council had sent low-level representatives, none of them close to the Chancellor. Not yet. That was expected. They didn't want to admit Earth had returned, but they needed answers. The first to arrive was a Sorelli delegate, all feathers and fluid tones. Then a Izari tactician, skeletal and formal. Finally, a Doran diplomat, scales glinting under a thin shimmer suit. Rhea didn't rise. Let them sit first. The Sorelli spoke, voice melodic but cautious. We were told Earth no longer existed. Rhea's eyes narrowed slightly. And yet here I am. The Izari's mandibles clicked. What do you want? Rhea slid a small black device onto the table. A hologram ignited, static footage. Council beacons blinking as Kyril warships tore through Terran colonies. Civilian shuttles vaporized. Council patrols standing idle in orbit. This is from our archives. We made sure the data survived, even if the people didn't. The Sorelli looked away. You watched, Rhea said coldly. Then you walked away. And now you want to ask what we want? The Doran's voice was low and rough. Not all of us agreed with the Chancellor's pact. Then you'll help us expose him. Rhea leaned forward. Earth doesn't want conquest. We want accountability. And if you don't get it? Rhea held the Doran's gaze. Then you'll get what Kilaris got. On the Leviathan, Admiral Reyes reviewed the meeting in silence. The footage had been streamed back in real time. She could tell Rhea held her temper, but barely. That was why she chose her. Council leadership hadn't responded. Not a single word. Only silence, and a quiet doubling of fleet deployments around border systems. Send the next message, Reyes said. A tech officer nodded. Message Alpha 3 queued. Targeting diplomatic comms across the inner core. Broadcast in 5. On Seraph Prime, in the inner sanctum of the Council Tower, Vel Surat slammed a fist into his desk. They broadcasted the massacre footage to every primary system. Do you understand what this means? He snapped. Counselor Ixon tried to speak, but Surat waved him off. They're not just attacking our ships, they're attacking our legacy. Our history. Our truth. He turned to the shadowed corner of the room. How long until the stellar lance is ready? A hooded figure stepped forward. It hasn't been tested in centuries. It could burn entire systems. Good, Surat said. Let Earth see what true power looks like. Meanwhile, deep within the Leviathan's AI core chamber, Reyes walked the dim catwalk alone. This part of the ship was kept cold. Always quiet. The lights pulsed gently, in rhythm with the artificial minds that helped run the fleet. Unit 9, she said aloud. A smooth voice responded from the darkness. Active. Show me Kyril movement in response to the Kilaris strike. A glowing sphere appeared, representing space around Kyril territory. Red sparks bloomed. Fleets mobilizing. Quiet, fast, efficient. Expected, Reyes muttered. Council silence continues. The AI added. Projections estimate a 74% chance of preemptive retaliation within 8 days. And the defector? Varen Zil has requested asylum and tactical immunity in exchange for intelligence. Reyes narrowed her eyes. What did he offer? Coordinates to Seraph Prime's legacy weapon vault, including confirmation of Project Lance. She felt a chill crawl down her spine. She'd heard whispers of the Stellar Lance, an ancient kinetic energy weapon capable of shattering planets. Untraceable. Banned by the old war codes. So they would use it now. She turned and left the chamber. If Surat wanted to relive the old wars, she would show him how humanity learned from them. The next strike came quietly. Council Convoy G91, en route from the Vassan mines to the core, never arrived. The TSS Umber decloaked in its path. No shots fired. Just a targeted electromagnetic pulse that dropped every engine cold. Terran boarding crews moved like shadows, disabled defenses, hacked archives, took full cargo holds, then vanished. The convoy was left adrift. Embarrassed. Powerless. Council media tried to spin it as piracy. Earth released full footage the next day. In the Leviathan's war room, Reyes stood before her officers, hands behind her back. We've shown them who we are, she said. We've warned them. And now, we draw the line. She tapped a control. A star system lit up. *** Relay 9F***, a vital communications hub linking 6 core sectors. We cut this, we isolate their central fleet from Kirill's support. We show them we can reach anywhere. Rhea frowned. It's deep inside Council territory. They'll defend it. Hard. But not well. One of the tactical officers hesitated. Ma'am, if we strike Relay 9F, civilian traffic will collapse in 4 neighboring sectors. Medical routes. Refugee transports. A quiet beat passed. I know, Reyes said. You still want to do it? No. She looked up hard. I have to. Later that night, alone in her private chamber, Reyes opened a small data crystal. It flickered to life with the voice of her brother, recorded before Europa fell. Hey Junebug. You'll probably be too busy to watch this. But if you do, remind yourself to breathe, okay? You carry too much. You always did. She sat still, barely blinking. If anything ever happens to me, don't let it turn you into stone. You were always fire. Stay that way. She closed the feed. Eyes dry. Back straight. Then she walked out toward war.